Okay, folks, so many of you know that the dash cam and body cam of the Decatur police shooting of Jamontey Neal was just released. Obviously, a lot of people have questions, but I'm going to give you the play-by-play breakdown just so you have an idea of what transpired here from the officer's standpoint. And of course, you can see what happened inside the vehicle. And then we're going to kind of get into why this happened, how this happened. And sadly, we've seen this before, but all right, so let's get into it. So we're going to start out with the dash cam of Officer Austin Bowman. That's the view you're seeing right now, and you have Neal's vehicle ahead of him. You're going to hear him call out the motor vehicle stop. He's going to call out a plate to dispatch, advise of his location. Now they know they're making the stop because they got information from a confidential informant that Neal was in possession of an illegal firearm. The firearm was illegal because Jamontey Neal is a convicted felon and is prohibited from being in possession of a firearm. So they got confirmation from the confidential informant that he did in fact have a weapon on him. So they were going to conduct the motor vehicle stop. So let's roll.
Black SUV,
So he called out the plate and said black SUV, one occupant. Now, I think it's important to keep in mind that you'll immediately see another officer. There was another officer, Ryan Ricker. You'll see Officer Ricker approach Neal's SUV from the passenger side, so he has a different vantage point. Now, one of the things that I used to do on patrol was I would always approach from the passenger side in general because you had that element of surprise, and the person you're pulling over is looking for you to come up on the driver's side and not expecting you to be on the passenger side. So you could actually walk up on the passenger side and look into the vehicle and kind of see what they have going on before they even know you're there. You'll see them looking in their side view mirror, looking for you to come up along the driver's side. But it was a great element of surprise, and you could actually see people hiding stuff. You'd see people reaching for stuff, all kinds of stuff. So the passenger side approach is very, very beneficial. However, in this situation, I don't know what their protocols are, but Officer Bowman probably knew he had a backup officer, Officer Rickers. So what he did was went to the driver's side. Also, one of the reasons I would go to the passenger side was if you're on a main road and you have cars going by, you have cars whizzing by your backside. It's not really that fun because you're focusing on someone in the driver's seat of a car that, like in this case, has a weapon, could have a weapon, and now you're worried about you might get run over by someone texting and driving, not paying attention. Which I was on the scene for that happening one time, and a trooper lost his life got hit by a distracted driver on the side of the interstate, and I was there for that. That was not nice at all. So but here you're on a side street, it's secluded, so you can go up to the driver's side if you want, especially if you have a backup officer. Okay, so you're going to see Officer Bowman go to the driver's side window and Officer Ricker go to the passenger side.
Show me your hands, buddy. Okay, show me your hands. Show me your hands. Show me your hands. Step out of the car.
So he has a weapon on him because he just left a meeting with a confidential informant. So right out of the gate, some people are saying, "Oh, why did he walk up with his hand on his gun?" The officer, he has a weapon on him. So right away, he has a weapon on him, and you need to be ready because he could be waiting with that weapon right as you walk up to the window to shoot you right through the window. You don't know. So that's just a precautionary thing. Anytime you had a elevated motor vehicle stop or a felony stop, you had your hand on your weapon. So I had my hand on my weapon on most traffic stops until I knew what was going on. So here they know he has a weapon, so that's why you see that. Now you also see Officer Ricker looking to the passenger side, and he's going to call out something.
Do not get out of the car now! Do not get out of the car! Do not move! Hey, do not move! Here, show me put your hands on the dashboard right now! It's under his ass! Get up!
So at this point, you see Officer Ricker. He saw Neal put something under what appears to be Later on, you'll see in the video his right thigh, right buttocks. Um, it looks like um, for some reason he was hiding his phone. It You'll see later in the video he actually reaches there and pulls out what appears to be a phone. Why he was trying to hide his phone, I don't know, but that's what I'm kind of seeing. I've watched this video a few times. So anyway, Officer Ricker sees this. Officer Bowman, listening to this, sees that he's not showing his hands. And anytime you're you're pretty much engaged with the subject and they have a weapon on them, number one thing is you want to see their hands. They can't do anything without using their hands, right? They're not going to like take the gun with their feet and shoot you. So you have to see their hands. That's why you keep hearing them say, "Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. Don't move your hands." Number one.
Now, do not reach for it.
So now at this point, you have a third officer come up, and this is Sergeant Whitmer. Now, from a tactic standpoint, this is a little sketchy because he has his gun drawn, and what it appears, I'm not trying to, be bad about it, but it appears he flags Officer Bowman. So he comes up with his weapon drawn, which I understand that, but as you pass the muzzle of the gun past another officer, you kind of want to drop that down, and it looks like he muzzles or, however, flags, lasers. There's a lot of terms for it, but the for those of you who aren't military or police, you don't want to swing the barrel of the gun where the end where the bullet comes out past your coworker or anyone that is someone you don't want to shoot. You kind of want to dip that down for a second and then bring it back up to the target. But he comes up, gun drawn. Obviously, it's a heated situation. He sees two other officers with their gun drawn, so he's gonna come up with his gun drawn because he knows something's up here. So this is Sergeant Timothy Whitmer coming up, and he's a sergeant, and he at this point pretty much tells Officer Bowman to step aside to take control here because he realizes this is an escalated scene, and he obviously is the ranking officer there.
Nothing under my head. Put your hands up right now. Ain't nothing under my head. Put your hands up right now. Do you understand? Grab the roof, right?
Okay, so you hear him say, "Grab the roof." So he has his hands in front of him, and he's playing I don't got anything on me, I don't got anything on me, which we obviously, which is a lie. All these people on traffic stops lie to you. Anyone you stop, I've had soccer moms lie to me, I've had gangbangers lie to me, I've had everyone lie at some point. So you just realize that you can't. He has a weapon on him, and you don't know where it is. It could be in the glove box, or it could be in his waistband. It could be, in between his legs, and you need to make sure you control his hands. So that's why he's saying, put your hands on the roof. So essentially, what he's saying is, I want you to get your hands as far away from your body or with that reaching anything. And when you put your hands, reach out and, reach up and, come around and grab the roof and then make him get out of the car. You could also handcuff from that point too, but this is obviously getting more tense.
Now, grab the roof right now. I'm not moving. You see a gun shooting me. Yeah, he's.
So you see him say, "I'm not moving, shoot me." So, okay, folks, you are pulled over by the police. You have three police officers pointing a gun at you, giving you a simple command to get out of your vehicle. Now, you have a weapon on you. He knows he's going to jail for a long time. However, the smart thing to do at this point would have been to simply get out of the vehicle and obey the commands. He was just at this point just biding his time. He was trying to figure out when the most opportune time would be to attempt to execute these officers. So um, I don't know if he really recognized that there was a third officer, Officer Ricker, on the passenger side. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I'm not sure. You see him kind of turn later on in the video, but I think he is focused on these two officers right now, and he obviously not. We've seen this 100 times before. Not obeying commands. This could have ended right now if he just put his hands out, handcuffed, and went to jail and did his time. But he decided that wasn't what he was going to do today. So here we go.
Reaching for something under his butt. Look under my.
So Officer Ricker says he's reaching for something under his butt. Like I said, I think that's going to be his cell phone for some reason, and he actually pulls it out. So now he has his wallet, I believe, and his cell phone in his hand. You'll see later on.
Hey, nothing under my hand. Undo his seatbelt. Don't leave your hand. Do not.
So at this point, Sergeant Whitmer either tells him to undo his seatbelt or orders Officer Ricker to reach in and undo the seatbelt. Not quite clear, but anyway, they need the seatbelt off this guy because he's still seatbelted. And if you want to extract him from the vehicle, you're not going to do that while he's still seatbelted. So maybe some kind of compliance hold with his arm when it's exposed to get him out of the vehicle, but obviously it's not going to happen while he's seatbelted. So have to get him unseatbelted. You see Officer Ricker reach in an attempt to undo the seatbelt here, and you'll get a better viewpoint of it as well.
Pull away. Quit touching me.
So right here, you have more of the biting this time. Quit touching me. Playing the victim. Quit touching me. Listen, we live in America. If the police are pulling you over, you got to obey their commands. If you feel like they're pulling you over and giving you commands wrongly, you just comply, and then you file your lawsuit later. You don't hold court on the side of the road.
Quit touching me. Stop.
So you see how quickly it went from quit touching me to the first shot fired. They knew he was armed. They knew there was a weapon in the car, and they were trying to manage his hands. And so there's some question as to how this could have gone differently. There are some who are saying that this should have been from the get-go a felony motor vehicle stop, and on a felony motor vehicle stop, you don't approach the car. And you guys have seen it on TV, probably, some kind of California Highway Patrol, where they pull the car over and the officers position their car kind of like in a V behind the suspect's vehicle. The officers get out, open their door, and they stand behind their driver's side door, or they stand behind their patrol vehicle, or maybe the passenger side door, and they yell commands to the driver to exit the vehicle, get on the ground, put his arms out, and then you'll have officers move in to handcuff. There are some people who have said that with the knowledge that these officers had from the informant that he did have a weapon. Of course, you always got to be careful because sometimes these confidential informants, they could lie, but this is apparently a confidential informant that gave solid information that he had a gun on him. But that said, they could have very easily all stayed back, given him orders over the megaphone, or just yelled the orders for him to step out of the car and get on the ground. They chose to go up knowing he had a weapon on him, which is a risk. Like I said, I don't know their protocols in Decatur, but this obviously was a very risky situation. And they decided to approach the vehicle. Obviously, we're not going to Monday morning quarterback here. I don't know their procedures, but it was a risk here, knowing that he had a weapon. So you see, he instantly went from don't touch me to pulling the gun from his waistband, which you'll see shortly, and he fires a shot. I believe the first shot hit Sergeant Whitmer in the hand, and the shot separated, and I believe hit him in the face and somewhere else. And you'll see Officer Bowman also retreat, and you're going to see how it works. You're going to also see Officer Ricker retreat because step one, you have someone firing at you. The automatic assessment is go for cover. Unfortunately, in this situation, you have Sergeant Whitmer, who had no cover. He immediately took a shot, I believe in the hand or the arm, and he did require surgery, immediate surgery. So he was now down. You'll see he goes down in the street and has zero cover. So here you see Officer Bowman retreating and putting rounds on Neal. And then you see the smoke from Officer Whitmer's weapon to the left of your screen. You see two clouds of smoke, so it appears he's already fired 2 shots, maybe more. And you'll see what happens to Officer Ricker as well. Okay, so at this point, Officer Ricker backs up, and I believe you'll see he goes behind a tree. And then you have Officer Bowman retreat to, I believe, the rear of his car. We're going to see that in a little bit. And Sergeant Whitmer is in the open, laying in the middle of the street. Now, if you noticed earlier in the video, there was a patrol car approaching from up the street. Another officer, you see in through the driver's side window, you see the word sheriff. So that car came up from and kind of was facing the officers and facing the suspect vehicle. This is another point that we want to talk about because he was in a position which is called crossfire, meaning the officers that were on the motor vehicle stop facing the suspect, if they had to shoot, which clearly they did in this situation, he could have been shot. That fourth officer that pulled up, it looks like a sheriff car. So you see him quickly run to the side there, and he's getting out of that fatal tunnel, if you would, right in front of the where the shots are being fired from Officer Bowman. So he quickly moves. Okay, so you obviously hear him yelling shots fired, and Neal gets out of the car, and you're going to see what he's attempting to do. Now you see to the left there, you see the light of Sergeant Whitmer's his weapon light, and you're going to see once again. I'm going to just run this. You see Neal come out. He's trying to shoot, and he gets put down pretty quickly. Let's play this again. So you see he got out with his weapon and was clearly, planning on utilizing his weapon against these officers he already had, and he was looking to continue. So you see the weapon drop. It's right over here. It was in his hand. We're going to see if we could back this up a little bit, and I could see if I could show you here. The weapon's in his hand. You see it fly out of his hand. So I'm going to back it up for you guys again and play it. So now you see there's a little bit of a pause, and you see Sergeant Whitmer's weapon light right here. What happened was because he was hit in the hand, either combination of getting hit in the hand or what his weapon malfunctioned. So he had to kind of really do a tap rack and get his weapon back into the fight, and you'll see a better view of that from his body camera. So you see Whitmer continue firing once Neal is down. A lot of people, I'm sure, are going to say, hey, why did he keep firing? He was down. If you see that suspect that just tried to execute you still moving, and there's a weapon right next to him that he could potentially reach, you need to, at this point, eliminate the threat and ensure that the threat is no longer a threat. If you've never been fired at, you really can't speak, because once someone tries to execute you and take your life, you make sure that they are no longer able to do that. There's a weapon within a few inches of him. You guys, we've seen the movies, right, where they shoot the bad guy, think the bad guy's dead. Next thing you know, he pops up, grabs his gun, and tries to shoot you. So that happens in real life, folks. So you want to make sure the threat is down. And this is Officer Whitmer, who's now been shot.
Officer down. Officer down.
Okay, so you see, it appears Officer Bowman come up. He's covering down on the suspect, and you see another patrol car approaching.
Who's touching me?
So you see the other officer running across the street over here. He realized that shots have been fired and he's going to get out of the way because he knows that shots are coming this way right at him. You see the gun. You see he waved the gun and he fired a round right into the air as he was getting shot here. And he fired another shot into the air as he was getting shot there. So he just came out shooting. However, he was getting shot and just firing randomly.
Officer down. Officer down.
So now at this point, Sergeant Whitmer is advising that his other officers that he's been hit. And you see now another vehicle approaching from the front side. Now this is the dash cam, I believe, from Sergeant Whitmer's car. Yes, I believe it's Sergeant Whitmer's car. Now it appears that he allows Officer Bowman to pass him to effect the motor vehicle stop, which happens time to time. The sergeant doesn't want to make the stop. Sergeant's just going to stay back and be cover for the junior patrolman or the patrolman and just kind of be overwatched. It takes a second for the audio to kick in. You'll see usually how the in-car cameras work. Now you see he positions his car to the side of Officer Bowman's car, not directly behind it. I don't know if he was looking to just block the roadway so no one would go by, or if he was, getting maybe strategic cover. I don't know his reasoning for that, but typically it's just because they want to make sure that they're blocking the roadway so no one can get by. God forbid there's a altercation, which clearly there was. And once again, this is the dash cam from Sergeant Timothy Whitmer's patrol car. So at this point, he sees Officer Bowman has his weapon drawn and he's going to exit his vehicle and approach. He draws his weapon, realizing that weapons are already drawn by the officers and there's some sort of event occurring at the vehicle. And as you know, he's given the orders, as you heard in the first part. And there's that other patrol vehicle coming from, let's call it the opposite direction. Now, like I said, there are different reasons why this officer who just pulled up could have pulled up in this manner. If I had to guess, I would say that he pulled up in this manner to block Neal from potentially driving away, just to kind of block his vehicle in. Unfortunately, he put himself in a compromised position. Hopefully, he had some kind of cover, but as you can imagine, as the bullet started flying at Neal, had he been anywhere near where his vehicle is, he could have potentially gotten hit with friendly fire rounds from those other officers. So it appears he was behind his vehicle. So you see him pull up here, and it looks like he went behind his vehicle to cover. And then as the rounds once again started coming at him, he started to run this way. Now, as you see, Jamontey Neal falls out of his vehicle here, and shots are being sent at him in the direction of where the officer is running. Very lucky he didn't get hit with gunfire. Very lucky. And here you see at this point, once again, Sergeant Whitmer has been hit, and you're going to see the pause in the rounds he's putting on Neal because of the shot to his hand. So as you see there, it appears that Neal tried to get out. You see he fired some shots at Officer Whitmer, Sergeant Whitmer. And I don't know if he tried to get out. He still had his seatbelt on, and he had to go back in to get his seatbelt off. That's what it appears. We're going to see that from the other angle. You see Whitmer, his vehicle has his weapon has malfunctioned, and he's clearing that now. So from the looks of it, it appears that Jamontey Neal having his seatbelt on caused that delay of him getting out of the car, and actually was fortunate for Sergeant Whitmer because it gave him his time to get his weapon back in the fight and eliminate the threat. So this is the body cam. That's the camera that's worn right on the chest of Officer Austin Bowman. And you see just walking straight up to the vehicle. And you see Officer Ryan Ricker in the background approaching the passenger side.
Show me your hands, buddy. Okay, show me your hands. Show me your hands. Show me your hands.
Okay, so he has the wallet in the left hand.
Get out of the car.
For what?
Do not move. Get out of the car. Do not move.
For what?
Do not move. Do not move.
For what?
Show me put your hands on the dashboard right now.
Okay, so it looks like at this point he sees Officer Ricker on the passenger side. He saw the light.
It's under his ass. Get up now.
Do not.
So he goes to now move. You have two police officers yelling at you, "Do not move," and he goes to reach for something. This is the pinnacle of stupidity.
Do not reach for it.
Stop,
ain't nothing under my ass.
Get your hands up right now.
Ain't nothing under my ass.
Get your hands up right now. Do you understand me?
Ain't nothing under
Up
my
on the
ass.
fucking grab the roof right now.
Ain't did nothing.
Grab the roof right now. I'm gonna end up
I'm
shooting
not
you.
moving.
You see a gun?
Okay, so I'm not moving. That's a problem right there. I'm not moving. This is going to go south real quick, as you know.
Shoot me. Yeah, he's reaching.
So now there's something he switched from his left hand to his right hand you saw there.
Look, stop.
Look under my ass.
So what he's doing is now displaying he has nothing. He has his phone, he has his wallet. He reached down and just all he did was switch what was in his left hand to his right hand, and now he's claiming he has nothing. But watch how quick that changes.
Ain't nothing under
Reach
my
in and
ass.
undo his seatbelt.
No.
Go.
So he says to Officer Ricker, reach in, undo his seatbelt. Most likely so they could drag him out of the car.
Do not pull away.
Quit touching me. Quit touching me.
Stop.
So you see him reaching right there at that point. At this point, Officer Austin Bowman retreated back to behind his car. Now he's in between Sergeant Whitmer's car and his car. You see the front headlight to the left there of Sergeant Whitmer's car, and now he got to cover, got his weapon, back up, and now he's putting rounds on Neal that I believe is on the ground by now.
Officer down. Officer down. I'm hit, Travis. Where you at? Hit in the arm. Hit in the arm. Hit in the leg. And undo his seatbelt.
So here we go. It's going to slow it down here, so you see, even in slow motion, how quick it happens. This is once again the body cam of Officer Austin Bowman.
No, do not pull away.
Quit touching me. Quit touching me.
You saw the weapon come out there. Now you see Officer Bowman did put some rounds on him while he was there in the doorway, but once again, it looked like he was stuck, most likely because of the seatbelt. It appears for some reason he got jammed up there, so he looks like Bowman was able to put a couple of rounds on him there. Could have hurt him. Definitely stunned him. So you see there, he takes his left hand off the weapon and he's going for his mic to call in shots fired.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Officer down. Officer down. I'm hit, Travis. Where you at? Hit in the arm. Hit in the arm. Hit in the leg.
So this is the body cam of Sergeant Timothy Whitmer.
Central, hold us the air. 1032.
So Sergeant Whitmer just said, "Central, hold us the air." So that is him advising dispatch to hold radio transmissions. They have someone now, obviously they have their weapons out, and clearly anything can happen at any moment. And because it may be an emergency situation, they don't want other radio traffic going on over the air that would potentially block them from making a radio transmission, an emergency radio transmission. So you hear him say, "Hold us the air." Dispatch will essentially put in a hold on any other transmission coming through. And other officers on the road don't just call out that you're going to stop out at 7-Eleven for a coffee, and just to give your location. There's something going on, and no one gets on the radio until this is cleared up.
Do not reach for it.
Stop.
Ain't
Step
nothing
back.
under my
Put your
ass.
hands up right now. Up right
Ain't
now.
nothing under my
Keep
ass.
your hands up right now. Do you understand
Ain't
me?
nothing
Up on the fucking, grab the roof right
I ain't
now.
did nothing.
Grab the roof right now. I'm gonna end up
I'm
shooting
not
you.
moving.
You see a gun?
Shoot me.
Yeah, he's reaching for something.
Look,
Stop.
look,
Stop.
look under my ass.
Stop.
Ain't nothing under
Reach
my
in and
ass.
undo his seatbelt.
No,
Go.
quit touching
Do
me.
not pull away.
Quit touching me. Quit touching me.
Put your hands up. Stop.
So you see there, he was clearly digging for something. It actually took him a couple of tries to pull the weapon out. It didn't come out easy. He had the big baggy sweatpants. He had the big baggy sweatshirt. So, clearly they saw him reaching for something. It was something that was he was trying to get out. Maybe they couldn't see what it was, but they saw the situation going south very quick. We're going to slow it down. You see, he's now hitting the hand or the arm, and you're going to watch him have to get his weapon back functioning. Just so you know, what he did was known as tap, rack, and reassess, and get the weapon back. So you saw him tap on the bottom side. I'm trying to think layman's terms for those of you who don't know firearms. He tapped the bottom of the gun where you put the magazine in, and he racked the slide to get if any was a jam or a misfeed out, and then he got the gun back into the vise. The fact that he was shot and did that quickly. He did that quicker than I've seen guys, on the range who are just on the range without bullets flying at them, nor have they been shot. And it sometimes takes some officers a longer time to do it. He did it super fast there.
Officer down, officer hit, officer down. I'm hit, Travis. Where you at? Hit in the arm, hit in the arm, hit in the leg. Which arm? Which arm? And the face. I'm hit all.
So as you see, he fired his weapon until the weapon was out of rounds.
All over.
Right there, he's reaching. Reaching again. So he reached, he missed, and he's reaching again. There you go, and he's pulling it out. Looks like the first round he just pulled out and just shot into the air. That tap rack reassess was fast in slow motion.
Officer down, officer hit, officer down.
And still, after being shot, obviously there's a lot of adrenaline going on right now. He's been shot, he's been hit. He had to put a suspect down, and he still had the wherewithal to advise that he's been hit.
I'm hit, Travis. Where you at? Hit in the arm, hit in the arm, hit in the leg. Which arm? Which arm? And the face. I'm hit all over.
So what happened was, this is shrapnel from one of the rounds. Apparently had from what I read, Sergeant Whitmer had a titanium wallet on him that stopped one of the rounds. I don't know if that's confirmed, but apparently that's also what happened. But one of the rounds clearly fragmented and hit him in multiple spots.
58 is going to have a 38 Woodford and Walnut. It's a black SUV.
This looks like the body cam of a secondary officer, Ricker, inside Bowman's vehicle.
27, 814, one occupant. Hey, let me see your right hand. It's under his head. Get out of the car now.
So he immediately saw something underneath. Clearly from where Jamontey Neal pulled a weapon from, it seemed like there was something else underneath the seat he was trying to hide. It clearly wasn't the weapon, because he had the weapon, it looked like, in his waistband or somewhere, but I don't know what he was doing messing around under the seat. It might have been a phone or something else.
Get out of the car! Don't! Hey, get your hand up! Get your hand up now! It's under his ass. Get up now! Get let me see your hand!
Do not reach for it.
Ain't nothing under my ass.
Keep your hands up right now.
Ain't nothing under my
Keep
ass.
your hands up right now. Do you understand?
Ain't
me?
nothing under my ass.
Fucking grab the roof right
I ain't
now.
did nothing.
Grab the roof right now. I'm gonna end up.
I'm not
shooting you.
moving.
You see a gun? Shoot me.
Yeah, he's reaching for something under his butt.
Look under my ass. Ain't nothing under
Reach
my
in and
ass.
undo his seatbelt.
Don't move your hand.
Do not pull away.
So you see him, after Sergeant Whitmer tells him to reach in undo his seatbelt, once again, most likely so they can get him out of the vehicle, you see him reach in to now undo the seatbelt at this point.
To me. Quit touching me.
Stop.
Looks like he got a couple of rounds off, not sure.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Now, at this point behind the tree, clearly he retreated, get to cover, but he doesn't have eyes on Neal at this point. So it looks like, I don't know if he was putting more rounds on him, but those rounds that you hear are from Sergeant Whitmer and Officer Bowman, who went around the vehicle.
Officer down, officer hit, officer down.
Send everybody.
Which is common when you have a situation like this. He just got on the air, told dispatch, send everyone. So all units, all available units are going to be coming that way because this is now a you-know-what show. You say BLS expedite, that's the ambulance, basic life support. However, I would have paramedics, ALS. When an officer is hit, you want medics. Listen, when an officer is hit, you want like Air Force One. You want a helicopter. You need to get that guy to the hospital immediately. Now, so this is the vehicle, the third vehicle that came from up the street, and you see the viewpoint. Not to beat the dead horse, but understand what he was probably doing here, block the vehicle in, prevent the avenue of escape. But whew, really, because had this gone off at this moment right now, it could have been really bad.
Shots fired. Shots fired. I'm hit, Travis. Hit in the arm. Hit in the arm. Hit in the leg. Which one? And the face. I'm hit all over.
Okay, so that's what we have here, folks. I mean, it was just unbelievable to watch this all and just see how quickly. That's the thing that people don't realize, how quick it happens. It really just happens super fast. You see the vantage point not only from the dash cam but also the body cam of all of the officers, how fast it happens as well. In my opinion, clearly this is a good shoot. I can't speak to the tactics that were used by the officers as far as approaching the vehicle and things like that. Like I said, once again, I don't know their protocols. I don't know how they operate. Every town, every municipality, every county, every state's different. So I don't really know when they had knowledge that he had a weapon, why this wasn't a felony stop, why everyone didn't step back and maybe conduct a stop somewhere else when they had more vehicles, more officers, and all stayed back, ordered him out, got him on the ground, got him cuffed. That may have been a much safer situation for all these officers involved. But in the end, it looks like all the officers survived. You have Officer Sergeant Timothy Whitmer had to go into emergency surgery, but reports are that he is now stable and going to be okay. And thankfully, it's something that you see clearly could have went had he been shot in the face or shot in the head in that close proximity to Jamontey Neal, it could have obviously ended his life. Officer Austin Bowman, very lucky as well to be alive. All the officers are. He could have taken a direct shot as well. So you see a lot of elements here. You're not going to talk. Probably the media is going to leave a lot of this out. They're going to probably just say police pull over three white cops, four white cops pull over a black man and execute him in the street. That's something you may hear. Wouldn't be surprised if you hear that. But this is the real breakdown. And I'm glad these departments are releasing the dash cam and body cam footage sooner rather than later in these cases. But clearly you could see what happened here. Clearly it could have been avoided had he just complied. And that's the case with pretty much 100% of these police involved shootings. Subject complies, they go home, they stay alive, and they maybe go to jail and get bail. A lot of these states are doing away with bail, so I don't know. He probably went home that night and had his court date. But here you have a situation where the Jamontey Neal decided to essentially it's at the point where some may say this is like a suicide by cop, where you're drawing a weapon on 3 cops. What do you think? Really, what do you think is going to happen? So this may have been a situation where he knew he was done. He was not looking to go to jail, so he was going to go down in a blaze of glory and just try to do a firefight out of the situation. And however it ended, it ended. I got to believe he knew how it was going to end and just decided he was going to go for it anyway. So that's that. Anyhow, hopefully you guys enjoy this breakdown. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about any particular part of this. Hopefully this was a pretty good, thorough breakdown, but I'm sure some of you may have some more questions. Any questions you may have, let me know, and I'll try to answer them. All right, thanks for watching, guys.